Well, for every parent who has watched a child tremble in the hairdresser's chair, drag their feet to a swim lesson, or cry on the way to the pediatrician, help has arrived.
Luca Lashes is a collection of ebooks and interactive apps for kids 4 and under that turn the fear of first into fun. Joining us this morning is Nicole Fonovich and Fernando Romeo. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you for having us on today.
And this is such a cool concept. I love the interactiveness of it, plus the apps and that it's technology. But tell us, how did all of this get started?
Well, one day we went to bed and had this epiphany, this dream. I think I'm going to write some children's books. And the next thing you know, my whole family jumped on board. My mom decided we needed an intro story, and she started getting that going. And my husband actually came up with the concept, which is our son, our inspiration behind the series. And with his magical eyelashes, he blinks and he's able to overcome different fears in life. And that's what we wrote our series about, some fearful firsts.
I love that. Now, okay, so you're talking about firsts. We mentioned a few of them, but are there any more that you can tell us? Firsts for kids.
First haircut, first swimming lesson, first visit to the doctor, sometimes scary, visiting mommy in the hospital, first airplane ride.
Wow, I mean, you really cover a lot. We were just talking, Fernando and I, about we're taking our kids to the dentist here coming up, and there's definite nerves involved. So what are some of the tips maybe that you can offer?
Well, we have a parental section at the back of each of the books, which kind of aids parents on some tips, on some, assistance through that process, because it's scary for them as well. And what we did with the apps is embedded some of the sounds associated with those firsts. So the sound of the drill, sound of the water pick. This way the kids could get familiar with these sounds before actually going and sitting in that chair.
And is that how you make this fun? Because, I mean, I am an adult, and I want nothing to do with going to the dentist.
We've done a delicate
Not many of us do.
Except me. We've done a delicate balance between educational sounds and then some sounds that are just fun, that get the child to engage with that page in a fun way.
I love that. Now, one of the big ones is the first swim lesson. I mean, that absolute terror of being submerged in water. And you brought a couple of things here to show us.
Yeah, just, to get the process, to make it fun for a child. Get them involved in picking out their own swimsuit. Get some toys. Playing in the water is a great way to become comfortable and conquering that fear, as well as reading a couple books about it before you venture in.
I think books always help. Now, Fernando, you had a huge part in all of this. Tell us about your experience.
My experience with it has been really eye-opening, because I have children now, and really having to get inside and really help kids identify what nobody likes to hear the sound of a dentist drill going on in the next room, and you hear somebody crying. We try, like Nicole was mentioning earlier, we try to make a delicate balance of realistic sound as well as something fun to kind of ease the tension or the whatever kind of fears the child might have. And the music plays the same part in it. It's got to be playful, but we're always just trying to complement and make it easier for these kids to go through these firsts, because it's just as hard on the parents as it is for the kids. And I think that's why the book series is so effective. Because of the resources in the back of the book that tell you where the parents can go for this information, and making it easier for the kids themselves.
And one of the unique things that is different than a storybook is within an app we can have a narration, we can have a musical score, so it really takes that story and brings it to life. We also wrote the story in 5 different languages, so within each app you could go back and forth between Spanish or Italian or French or Chinese. So if your child's learning another language, they could listen to that story in the other language. The words are highlighted as it is spoken, helping with that word sound recognition.
Wow. So, okay, so now you started with the ebooks and the apps, and that must be why you did that, right? Is that why? Just so you could have it in different languages and...
Right. We could have music. We could have these educational sounds built in. We could make it more playful in a way that is very modern. The iPhone, the tablet, they're the devices that our apps are most downloaded on, and they're also worldwide. So people in these other countries now have access to some material that they might not otherwise have. We couldn't ship our book all the way to all these different countries.
Isn't technology cool?
It is. It is. It's universal for sure. So how does Luca like all of this?
He feels like quite a star.
I'm sure he does.
We do have the Luca lashes on the back of our car, and as we go to stores and shopping, you know, we'll have people come up to him and say, "Are you that little boy?" And he all proudly puffs up his chest and says, "I am."
How old is he?
He's 4.5.
He is 4. Okay, so this is a little, you said it's for 4 and under.
Yep.
But
it could be for older children
Okay.
that haven't experienced those firsts yet. Like some kids never go on an airplane until they're 8 or 9 for the
Right.
first time. So it really, wherever that first falls is the appropriate age.
oh, how fun.
Very cool. What do you hope kids are going to take away from this series?
To not be scared of these different firsts, and through you know, using different tools that are around you to gain that strength, and also to build a better relationship with their parents through discussing it, as, you know, in advance as a result of this.
Nicole, Fernando, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you
valuable.
for having
And
us.
you can learn more about this series online at lucalashes.com. Again, that's lucalashes.com.